From Lincoln, Alabama, in the heart of Dixie, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series is ready to go plate racing at the largest oval on the circuit. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talladega Superspeedway. Brandon Minto captured the checkered flag last Monday at the Lone Star State, punching his ticket to the round of 8 in the Monday Night NASCAR 2022 Series playoffs, holding off fellow playoff driver Bennett Allen for the win at Texas Motor Speedway. Mike Wright, our series points leader, led 151 laps in his Texas performance last week, and he still holds a commanding lead here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. I'm Dave Regal here in the broadcast booth, and I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag on the Independence Racing Network. And folks, glad to have you with us tonight as qualifying is underway. Pretty exciting night here in race number 2 of the round of 12 in our 2022 playoffs. It's been a pretty busy playoff season so far. Right now, taking a look at Jeff Carson in the number 9 Reynolds Wrap machine here with that hefty logo on the back end of his number 9 Toyota Supra. Brandon Minto finishing his qualifying effort in the number 12 Upside Ford Mustang. Alexander Gangler in that corn car is now up into P3 after these drivers have all logged times of 53.31, 53.34, and .76 for Gangler. As Gangler's coming around on his second lap, here at Talladega, of course, all about that second lap as it usually takes about a full lap to get that car all kinds of wound up. We're going to take a look here at the playoffs right here in the middle of your screen. Mike Wright, Bobby Blazer, Aaron Mack, Eugenio Alonso, Bennett Allen, Jeff Carson, R.P. Allen, Bob Nestor, John Bawalda, Chris Claude, Brandon Minto, and Zachary Vaughn in the number 91 make up your round of 12, and quite a talented round of 12, if you will, as a lot of these drivers have been with us since the beginning of the season. Chris Claude, of course, your Sunday Night NASCAR Davis Brothers Roofing Cup Series commissioner here in the number 10 Dasani Toyota Supra. He's out here battling for his playoff life right now, and I can't blame him whatsoever trying to get rocking and rolling this season. Zachary Vaughn in the number 91 1110 mods Chevrolet Camaro running in P10 right now on the leaderboard. Matt Gaskins in the number 79 Ford Mustang. He wraps up in P13. And, quite frankly, folks, Talladega, basically any restrictor plate track can be used as kind of a wild card race. It's really anybody's track, because if the big one happens, it can take some of the big names out. If the big one doesn't happen, which when doesn't it, you can also be a driver that just happens to be good at holding it wide open and drafting. But here in these Xfinity cars, they draft a little bit differently than the Cup Series cars, of course, that we had last night. Of course, last night was a busy night in the Cup Series over on Sim Racing Media with James and Liam over there. And tonight proves to be no different as we have quite a long race, if you will, as you come along with me here. We're going to be running a scheduled distance of 113 laps with 2 stage breaks. Now, the first stage break is going to end at lap number 25, and the second at lap number 50. So we can check all that out. These drivers are going to have 4 total sets of tires with 3 changes. So laying 3 with a total of 4. And quite frankly, even here in the JCTV 3, Bennett Allen, not sure if tire wear is going to be as big of a factor as it generally is at other tracks. As we're going to go searching here for Brandon Minto. Brandon Minto, Dave Regal in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother? Hey, man, listen, great run last week. You sit P3 now. I mean, listen, how's that car feeling tonight, especially, as we're switching over from, the Cup Series of last night to now the Xfinity Series? These B cars handle a lot differently from the Cup, yeah? Yeah, I think everybody's been looking forward tonight as, quite frank, to be completely honest and peek behind the curtain here. Talladega is my favorite racetrack on the series. When I was a kid growing up, I mean, Dale Jr. owned this track, and every time DEI showed up here, it was always a sight to see. And it just happened to be at the same time that I was learning NASCAR. So for some reason, Talladega holds a special place in my heart. And then on top of which, the biggest names in NASCAR have won here. What say you? What's going to be your strategy? Here you are sitting in P3 on the inside of row number 2 right now. Are we thinking drift back to the rear, or are you going to try to stay up here ahead of the mess? All right, man. Well, listen, Brandon, as you get ready to go, just make sure that you know that we'll be watching you here from above as hopefully you're going to be paying attention to us as everybody here on the Independence Racing Network, keeping an eye on that number 12 Ford Mustang, man. You too. And that was Brandon Minto from Ferta Motorsports. And, Brandon is one of those drivers where he has been hanging all year long and keeping it, completely clean for, I would say the most part. He is a driver that works on this craft that he's not willing to give up any room when he has earned the spot that he's in. And right now, as qualifying is coming to a close with about a minute and a half left, we can see that Brandon Minto sitting here on the inside of row number 2. And now with Lauren Jones in the number 11, he's going to be on the outside as it stands now. So we're going to step aside and pay some bills real quick here on the Independence Racing Network.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
And welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway as qualifying has completed this evening. Looking like Jeff Carson going to be sitting here atop the pile as everybody getting loaded in. We'll take a look at the starting grid. As Jeff Carson going to be your pole sitter with Justin Prater on the outside of row number 1. There's Jeff. As we're going to pull everybody's information up here. Jeff Carson going to be on the pole position tonight with Justin Prater on the outside. Brandon Minto going to be on the inside of row number 2 with Lauren Jones on his outside. Chad Sanner and Eugenio Alonso make up row 3. Mike Wright and Chris Claude make up row number 4. Row number 5 going to be Andrew T. Jones alongside Matthew Helm. rounding out your top 10. Ian Humphreys and Aaron Mack make up row number 6, as Bennett Allen and Josh Ward make up row number 7. Row 8 going to consist of Austin Story, who decided to try to get into me there on the last lap at Talladega in Cup Series last night on the inside of R.P. Allen. Ethan Flanagan and Doug Argabright going to make up row number 9. Row 10 going to be Zachary Vaughn and Brad Gunn. Row number 11, Matthew Gaskins and Corey Burkett, with Alexander Gangler and Anthony Paggio in row number 12. Row number 13 going to be Leo Bonacasa and Bobby Blazer, followed by John Crow and Finn Robinson in row number 14. Row number 15 going to be made up of John Bawalda, and starting shotgun on the field right now going to be Mr. Matt Mackin. So as mentioned earlier, 113 the scheduled laps tonight. As the cars are beginning to roll off here, we see Justin Prater bringing everybody around as these cars are just starting to roll here on the asphalt. We see Chad Sanner and Mike Wright, your points leader. Mike Wright, the Greensboro, North Carolina native, always ready to battle, as he has that Ford painted black tonight with that 98 there in that orange field there on the roof and the door panel. Jeff Carson sitting on the front row tonight. We're going to pull him into the broadcast booth right quick here. Jeff Carson, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Stand by, guys. Stand by. Stand by. Jeff Carson, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother? Listen, you're sitting up there on the front row tonight, my man. How do you feel? All right, man. Well, listen, you and these JGR guys, of course, Chris Claude, Lauren Jones, Alexander Gangler, you guys are all kind of this this close-knit little group. So as you come into turn 3, know that my heart's with you guys, and I hope that you have a great race. I got you, buddy. That was Jeff Carson, your pole sitter tonight, as we get ready to bring the field through the 3-4 complex. Jeff Carson, of course, driving that number 9 Reynolds Wrap Toyota Supra. And we see the iRacing.com pace car leading the cars out of the turn 4 area. He gets ready to dive down pit road as Carson, I don't get to say it often, so I'm going to say it as much as I possibly can. Carson brings the field into the tri-oval. He has control. His finger is on the button. And just as he enters the Geico restart zone, we're going to see the green flag wave. Grab some popcorn, call a friend. We are racing at Talladega Superspeedway. That field looking like a beautiful orchestration. It's controlled chaos as that snake moves its way into turn 1. Carson being pushed along by Brandon Minto in that upside Ford Mustang. He has Chad Sanner on his rear as they have now broken away in a little 6-car pack here. We're going to step back and see Chris Claude bringing another pack in the number 10 Dasani Toyota on the high side, with Andrew T. Jones on the low in his Chevrolet Camaro. Aaron Mack in the 31 following up Andrew Jones. And folks, I don't get to say it enough, but I'm glad I get to say it tonight. Jeff Carson, again here on lap number 1, brings the field into the tri-oval. Although that he's in second right now, he is side by side with Brandon Minto on lap number 1 at Talladega Superspeedway. Carson now getting that low line together as they come through turn 4. He's got Justin Prater leading that upper pack here But Prater not really getting a whole lot of help as that upper line is getting kind of shushlik, if you will, as Carson brings them through the tri-oval. Now he's going to get that point for leading a lap here, and trust me, those bonus points mean just about everything in the playoffs in the Xfinity Series tonight, as it's Carson, Sander, Alonso, Andrew Jones, Aaron Mack, Josh Ward in the number 1. He's followed by Austin Story in the 23. That makes up this low line. These 7 cars kind of getting single file as, we're very early in this race. Lap 3 of 115. We're working toward lap number 25. And as it looks like Austin's going to go to the high side, he's going to follow Josh Ward into turn 2, and into turn 3, and as they come out of 4, it's going to be Josh Ward pushing the bejesus out of Aaron Mack here in the 31. Folks, if you're just joining us on YouTube.com, welcome in. Looks like that live chat, all kinds of busy. Shay Franklin, first time here. Glad to have you. Glad that you're stoked, as always, as we're watching these machines make it around here. Glad to have you with us, Che. Che, I'll have to fix that. Not sure what happened with Brandon Minto or that audio. I'll fix that right now, as a matter of fact. I believe I know what's wrong. And the next time we bring somebody in from the drivers, we will have that settled in. Looks like there was just an input problem from Discord. But glad to have all of you in with us tonight, all 16 watching right now. Make sure that you call some friends. Get your eyeballs on Talladega because it's a fast and furious race tonight. Aaron Mack now on the high side trying to drag along Josh Ward. Oh, they make contact. They shove Jeff Carson down onto the infield as they're now 3 wide. We're still green flag racing. Aaron Mack in the middle between Eugenio Alonso and Josh Ward. My goodness, let's see where exactly Jeff might have gone as your pole sitter just got shoved down onto the infield. He has to be a very frustrated driver with smoke pouring out the back of that Toyota Supra. And as we come back up here to the lead, we can see Sander, Alonso, and Mack on the low side with what looks like Andrew Jones, Josh Ward, and looks like Austin Story on the high side. Still 2 lines here as we come through. About 8 cars double file, now 9, as the 03 of R.P. Allen makes his way into the dance. He's going to bring along Matthew Helm. Those big, mean purple machines of the 25 and the 03, they're just kind of lurking back here. I know R.P. Allen wants to get up as close to the front as he can, so he has a shot at leading this piece. But right now, I think after we just saw Jeff Carson get punted, that maybe he should try to be conservative as things are still hot and heavy atop this race. And, a place that we don't see him very often, Chris Claude, your Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series commissioner, he's up here running right now in 8th position is Chris Claude. And I got to be honest, not used to, I shouldn't say it this way because it sounds really horrible, but not someplace that we usually see Chris at a Superspeedway. Usually is a lot more conservative, but, with the Roval coming up next week, this is definitely the last chance for some of these drivers to transfer over into that round of 8. And believe you me, as somebody who personally can't drive a road course to save my soul, I would be in the same position that Mr. Claude would be here, as he is side by side with the godfather of SNN Cup Series racing, Mr. Leo Bonacasa, and a tip of the cap to Leo from Long Island, New York. Last night Leo and we had a little dust up earlier on in the Cup race, and I made sure to not necessarily a dust-up, but Leo had run out of fuel last night coming onto pit road. I gave him a shove, and to repay me for that favor, basically Leo gave me a shove at the end of the race as I was getting ready to be side-by-side with Austin Story. I mean, just a great all-around racer is Leo Bonacasa, as, doesn't have anything to do with being on the same team, but except for a love of this sport. And it looks like, speaking of getting shoved, it looks like Austin Story here in the 23 out of Valdosta, Georgia. He's got some damage on the rear of his 23. Meanwhile, the 64 of Andrew Jones is suddenly going in reverse as he has decided to take the middle and get back into line and maybe try to save some fuel, as he is going to be sitting just in front of Ian Humphreys in the 32. And as mentioned, Shea Franklin, glad to have you here on behalf of Jack Dow Motorsports. Of course, Jack Dow Motorsports featuring such drivers as Mr. Tony Burt here in the number 4. Now, Tony is off pace right now, but obviously waiting for that ever so possible caution. Of course, your Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series Commissioner, Mr. John Bawalda. We see him right here in the 51 machine. Jack Dow Motorsports also, as I'm paging up through on here, also going to feature Eugenio Alonso and Finn Robinson, John Crow. These drivers tonight, as we take a look at Eugenio Alonso in the 86 machine, he is our international participant from Buenos Aires in the number 86 Chevrolet Camaro. Eugenio Alonso, just a really talented driver. I know that he can keep this machine up here all night. So, Che, glad to have you up here. And I'll tell you what, John Bawalda, a great guy. Him and I went to Dover Motor Speedway earlier this season together. It was great to hang out with him, get to know him. And, we had a great day down there at Dover, along with Commissioner Bob Nestor of the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. As Josh Ward, your new race leader, going to be pushed up there by Austin Story. And it looks like Austin Story's already had a field day on the back bumper of that number 1 Chevrolet Camaro, as he's pushing Josh around the outside. And looks like the MNN song may have been wrong. 2 Trailer Park Boys go around the outside as they are coming down into the tri-oval, making the pass over top of Eugenio Alonso and Aaron Mack. Aaron Mack in the 31, as they have gotten themselves just ahead. Here we are on lap number 12 of 113, working our way toward lap number 25. So just about halfway through stage number 1 here at Talladega Superspeedway. You're watching the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series on the Independence Racing Network, live on YouTube.com. Glad to have you all with us. Make sure that you're giving us a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications, as we are the exclusive provider of broadcasting here for the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series on iRacing.com. And here they come, just about 3 wide. We see, as this pack is moving down, we can see Tony Burke getting swallowed up as now a lapped car he is. The trackbookings.com number 4 Chevrolet holding on for dear life. Of course, one of those Jack Dow Motorsports drivers. Tony Burke has to be the absolute most courteous driver I have ever raced on iRacing with. Ever. Period. End of story. No argument whatsoever. Tony Burt is one of those drivers where once he is in his groove, he is in his groove. Don't get him out of it. And, if he realizes that he's not as fast as some of those around him, he will move out of the way and do his best to follow or match that pace. And right now, Tony he is the only car a lap down. A lap down and on track, that is, I should say. as they head down the back chute on lap number 14 of 113 here at Talladega. Chad Sanner and Josh Ward side by side coming through the tri-oval here on lap number 15. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an emergency to tend to for work. I will be right back. You will be watching whatever we can find here on the most exciting feeds here on iRacing. My sincerest of apologies as, well, when the boss man calls, you got to go. I will be back in just a few moments. We will step aside here and let you folks see the spotter cam here on iRacing.com, the Independence Racing Network. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bearing with us. Dave Regal here with the Independence Racing Network. I was not accidentally, but unintentionally interrupted by Bob Nestor, Monday Night NASCAR Series Commissioner, who also happens to be my real-life boss. And, when the boss man calls and we have an emergency, one has to handle it. But it looks like here we are at lap number 27. Looks like the end of stage number 1 has completed. Everybody coming down pit road as Andrew T. Jones gets himself down on there. And we'll see if we can get a hold of Mr. Josh Ward and double test those audio abilities here. Josh Ward, Dave Regal in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, man, listen, you got to forgive me. The Bobster called, and I had to run away for work for a few minutes, but I assume that you were our Stage 1 winner.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering what happened. I was sitting there telling them, I don't know what Dave's doing, but I got setups to sell. I got to talk to the people.
Well, sell us those setups and talk to the people as you come down the backstretch. You got a few seconds left.
TWRS, use code 80085 for 15% off of Xfinity setups. I believe they start at $8, so you can go ahead and get 15% off of it there.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the Stage 1 win. I'm always glad when I come back in and I sit down and I see it's a buddy of mine there on the inside of row 1. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And just before I go, again, it's TeamWatsonRacingSetups.com, code 80085.
All right, folks, you heard it there from Josh Ward himself. Josh, get that foot ready there on the loud pedal, and we'll see you on the other side, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Josh Ward, driver of the number 1 Chevrolet Camaro. He is out here leading this field on the inside of row number 1. Chad Santer on his outside. Aaron Mack just behind him. Matt Gaskins in the 79. John Crow Sr. here in the number 95. He's a Jack Down Motorsports driver here on the high side. Matt Gaskins, Corey Burkett, Matthew Helm, Ian Humphreys, Lauren Jones, and Finn Robinson round out your top 10 as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing. Josh Ward gets his foot hovering just above that pedal. Maybe he's fluttering the throttle a little bit as he brings them into the tri-oval. He gets ready to make that gracious left-hand turn. He can see the blue paint of the Geico restart zone. He slams his foot down on the ground, and we are green flag racing once again here at Talladega Superspeedway. Josh Ward, Aaron Mack, and Matthew Gaskins now pulling away from the field as they have gone single file. These first 3 cars, they look to be pulling along the 95 of John Crow Sr. in his Chevrolet. Crow is now starting to get Corey Burkett there on his rear as in that 1110 mods machine Corey Burkett is. He's being pushed along by none other than the great Lauren Jones in the number 11 Cheetos machine. That Cheetos car is on fire, as the Cheetos, Chester the Cheeto would be saying right now. Looks like the 25 of Matthew Helm now trying to mount an attack here with the 59 of Chad Santer in tow as well. The 26 of Finn Robinson just behind the 2 of them. Another Jack Down Motorsports driver. A lot of Jack Down Motorsports drivers here in the top 10 right now, more than we generally get to see, so it's exciting to see those drivers up top. Lauren Jones, of course, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing this season. Zachary Vaughn in the 91. He is now following Lauren Jones as we're moving our way back further and further here in this field. Everybody pretty much staying about where they belong. And then that second pack forms up here with the 01 of Matt Mack and leading the way, Alexander Gangler running in 21st right now. Anthony Paggio in 23rd, pushing along Alexander. And, you know, chances are Paggio's just trying to hang on there, log some laps, and he is being rounded up by Chris Claude. As Chris Claude looking to the outside, trying to see what kind of a side draft ability he's got, as we are under caution. And now it looks like all kinds of a mess has happened. And we're just waiting to see exactly what may or may not have happened here. And it looks like a wreck at the front of this piece, something we don't usually see. So I guess I've got to move that camera around just a hair. Looks like we're going to start here from the 26. We can see Finn Robinson here in the 26. We'll roll it from here. Looks like the 59 drops down. The 32 gets in front of the 1. And maybe that disturbed air, or maybe just a miscalculation from the 32, as we can see that here. As he drops down in front of the 1, that takes Josh Ward and presses him up into the 25 and the 23, rolling the 23 around. We're trying to look for some more camera angles here, as unfortunately I work alone here on a Monday night, so not always easy to find without a little bit of help from above. And speaking from above, we'll look here from the chopper cam. You see the 23, that's Austin Story. The wreck happens in front of him. Austin Story opts to go high and stay as far away as he can, and it's just wrong place, wrong time, bad spot for Austin Story. Oddly enough, we can see our good friend Tony Burt squeaking through there. And just as we see Tony Burt, we're going to run this back and watch him navigate this, because as all of that mess was going on, that trackbookings.com number 4 Chevrolet, he's got to navigate this as if Google was his navigator. He's able to split this like as if his name was Moses and he's headed for the Red Sea, and avoids all of that mayhem. After all of that, it looks like drivers down on pit road: Justin Prater, Brandon Minto, Lauren Jones, Eugenio Alonso, Mike Wright, Ian Humphreys, Doug Argabright, John Crow Sr., and Austin Story involved in that wreck or around that wreck. That leaves Matthew Helm in the number 25 Premier Racing Setup Shop Toyota Supra atop the pile right now, with Chad Sanner just behind him. Finn Robinson in the 26. Also there, a lot of, like I said a moment ago, a lot of Jack Dow Motorsports cars atop the pile tonight. Ethan Flanagan in the 46, Aaron Mack running in 5th position, Tony Burt, my good buddy, here in the 4 car in 6th position, Andrew T. Jones in the 64, John Bawalda, the owner of Jack Dow Motorsports, running in 8th, Alexander Gangler of Joe Gibbs Racing in 9th, and Chris Claude, the granddaddy of them all, your Davis Brothers Roofing SNN Cup Series commissioner, rounding out your top 10.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
First caution for incident tonight here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series at Talladega Superspeedway. Matthew Helm, your current race leader. He is followed by Chad Sanner on the outside of row number 1, Finn Robinson and Ethan Flanagan on row 2, and row 3, Aaron Mack and Andrew Jones with row 4, Alexander Gangler and Tony Burt. Matt Gaskins and John Bawaldo III rounding out the top 10. Matthew Helm takes the button away from everybody else. He has control. So right now that foot hovering just above the throttle. Those gloves nice and tight as he brings them through gracefully into the tri-oval. Helm hits the Geico restart zone, but Chad Sanner gets the jump as we are back green flag racing here on lap number 35 of 113 at Talladega Superspeedway. Folks, just a reminder, we are working toward lap number 50 tonight for stage number 2, and then of course we'll have those 63 laps to the end. Big night here in Alabama, the heart of Dixie, as right now Finn Robinson pushing the bejesus out of Matthew Helm as they're all fanned out here on the back stretch. Drivers trying to navigate their way to the rear, and we're going to have a three-way battle now for the lead as we're 3 wide going into turn 3. The 25 shoves the 46 out of the way to get himself a little bit of real estate. Meanwhile, Robinson takes it on the low side, steals away the lead from Matthew Helm, and he brings along Aaron Mack in the 31 along for the ride with Andrew T. Jones in tow. They're still 3 wide as the 46 of Ethan Flanagan is looking for any kind of place he can park this thing in line and follow along. Meanwhile, Tony Burt here on the low side chasing down Alexander Gangler with team owner John Bawaldo III following him. So quite a tight knot of Chevrolets atop the pile. Just 3 Toyotas in a sea of Chevys. As they are once again 3 wide. R.P. Allen now part of this mix, as they finally decide to settle down here on lap number 36. Took almost an entire lap to get things sorted back out so drivers could run their race, hit those marks, and maybe keep this thing clean and green for several more laps, as we've got 15 left now in stage number 2. Your stage 1 winner, Josh Ward, unfortunately in the number 1 Chevrolet Camaro. He is, looks like he has put it on the hauler. It appears that he's put it on the hauler, but meanwhile, we are 2 wide here for 3 rows in the front of this piece. Meanwhile, we are deep all through this, and we can see back here to Ian Humphreys in the 32. This is all kinds of disconnected back here. This entire second group, we can see that as we're going to go up here to the blimp. This is nothing but a mess. These drivers are not going to be able to get themselves anywhere near that lead pack unless they start to get single file and form up. And just as I say that, it looks like Justin Prater finally deciding he's just going to draft his way around and wait until he can parallel between the 91 maybe and the 11. Looks like the 91 is going to be able to let him in, as he is now about to slide right down in front of him so he can draft up behind Lauren Jones in the 11 Cheetos machine. Jeff Carson, Dave Regal in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Hey, man, listen, really, really rough start for you. I mean, take us through that and what happened back there.
I was just minding my business, just running the load line, and the 31, I guess, got a bad push from the 1, and it shot him down into me, and it sent me into the inside wall and blew my engine. So I retired it for this race, and hopefully I have a better race next week to move on with the playoffs.
Yeah, next week we're cutting heads there at the Charlotte Roval, but I think you should have enough points maybe to at least try to get in there. We'll see what happens, but I mean, just a really tough night. As I know that you're kind of a mad scientist when it comes to your setups, man, and in a league like this, setups become key.
That they do, because you got a lot of competition here. You got a lot of different driving styles, and you got a lot of different teamwork that work hard on the setup. So it's, you basically just trying to keep up with the top teams here in the setups.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, listen, I don't want to take you away from what it sounds like you're doing a little bit of admin work there. So don't want to take you away from that for too long, but listen.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of race control while my night's done. So I'm just sitting here kind of watching like you are and having fun doing it.
Trust me, there are more nights than others that I find myself more relaxed here in the broadcast booth. Of course, my good friends at the Yingling Brewery help me relax. But, I got to be honest, sometimes it's just that much more relaxing up here in the broadcast booth than it is down on track, especially when you wind up in the mess that you did tonight.
Yeah, it's always tough getting wrecked out when you're leading the race, especially in the playoffs, and now you just really got to fight hard next week, and I'm not a road course ringer, so the best I'll probably be looking at next week is maybe a top 10, so hopefully that gives me enough points to get me to move on to the next round.
All right, man. Well, listen, thank you for the time. We appreciate you, and if anything, maybe we'll see you in a little while.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, sir. That's Jeff Carson doing some race control tonight, member of the Joe Gibbs Racing Team. Tonight's pole sitter, as he kind of got shuffled way early and kind of punted. But looks like karma has come back for some of those drivers, as even now with Aaron Mack, your race leader, he's being pushed along by Bennett Allen. And I got to believe Bennett Allen is using Aaron Mack like a fuel pig at this point, as we're on lap number 42. So maybe RP Allen stepping out just a hair. And now the 26 of Finn Robinson decides, ill-advised, I don't know who would have told him to do that. Gets himself 3 wide, shuffling Bennett Allen to the high side. Finn Robinson being pushed along by Tony Burt here in the number 4 Chevrolet. Those two teammates now pushing themselves here on the outside, looking for some help, maybe from the 25 of Matthew Helm as they come down the backstretch. They come in the backstretch, and it looks like it's going to push Finn Robinson to the lead of this race. Now the question becomes, does Tony Burt push him and Finn drops in front of the 31, or does he try to bring his teammate along and take both of those spots away from Aaron Mack? More often than not, you can kind of see these drivers push one another around and then drop to the low side, hanging out their draft partner to dry. But right now, so far, so good, as it looks like Robinson able to keep it just barely ahead of Aaron Mack by a nose, and he and Aaron Mack are going to be going at it hammer and tongs here soon. Finn Robinson looking to make another push as he's trying to bring along Tony Burt. Tony Burt getting that run that he needs as he's coming up to the rear. Burt needs to hold himself just behind. He gets a push here coming into the tri-oval. That's dangerous, but obviously Finn able to hold it steady. Tony starting to lose a little bit of distance there, as that magic number is about 0.5 seconds before you start to lose that grip, and Tony well within that. Tony Burt trying to push his teammate up. It seems like maybe things have cooled off for the time being. We'll take a look back there as Brandon Minto and Mike Wright, those Ferta teammates now, they have this second group all lined up, and we're going to take a look at it here from the blimp. This second group has finally formed themselves into quite a line. If you look here, looks like about 7, 8, 9, almost 10 cars. 11 cars it is now from Brandon Minto in 14th, way back to Anthony Paggio. These 11 cars are suddenly going to start creeping in here as we're going to see Minto's gap between himself and Matthew Helm start to close. And we're going to keep it right here as Brandon Minto just 3.5 seconds back from Helm. In the closing laps here, oh my. In the closing laps here, as we are 3 wide up atop this thing. My goodness, this is crazy. 3 wide for 2 in a row here. As Tony Burt has been hung out to dry in the middle, waiting for Bobby Blazer to drop down and give him a little bit of a tow here. Meanwhile, for some reason, Alexander Gangler riding the high side. He should be down here behind Tony Burt, trying to shove him along. Tony Burt not able to pull in behind Bobby Blazer. The 46 not willing to drop in front of Tony Burt. And oh, the 26 and the 3 make contact. It shoots Bennett Allen down below the mustard line. We're going to take a run back here and take a look at that. Real quick, folks, as I hate to waste too much time on something that we can look at later, but the 26 and the 3 just make a little bit of contact. It sends the 3 down below. As we're on lap number 47 of 113, Aaron Mack, your race leader. RP Allen there in P2. Finn Robinson, who had just made contact with RP's brother Bennett, he's lurking here for that stage win as Tony Burt is pushing him like a Caterpillar bulldozer out of turn number 4 back toward out of turn number 2 back toward the super stretch here at Talladega. And that moves Finn Robinson up into the lead, and I'll tell you what, if I was him at this point, I would consider maybe with 48 laps and just 3 to go now, maybe 2 1/4 to go now, it's about soon time to drop down and try to take Aaron Mack's momentum away. Cars starting to get squirrely. It looks like Chad Sander getting a little wobbly here behind RP Allen. Meanwhile, Tony Burt still pushing Finn Robinson. The 25 gets loose and he comes down onto the mustard line. Tony Burt pushing the bejesus out of the 26. Finn Robinson, it is time to drop down. There he goes in front of Aaron Mack here on lap number 49. He can hold Aaron Mack behind him as long as he can block him. Finn Robinson's got to get a little bit lower here as we're going to see that. This is perfect for racing Che Franklin, as you can see these Jack Down Motorsports machines working together here at the end of stage number 2 on lap number 49. Once we come around and complete lap number 50, that'll finish off stage number 2, and we are racing back to the end of stage number 2. Finn Robinson leading Aaron Mack, Tony Burt, and RP Allen. 1, 2, 3, and 4 they go. We've got what looks to be Andrew T. Jones here on the top side, Chad Sander in the 59. Anybody's race as we go down the backstretch, but I'm pretty sure Aaron Mack considering let's just try to preserve this car as he takes the air off the 26. That opens the door for the 31. Aaron Mack gets around the 31. The 4 nearly makes contact with RP Allen. They get squirrely on the mustard line here in turn number 3 and 4. As they roll out of 4, Aaron Mack, after a battle with Finn Robinson for the last 10 laps, is now being challenged by Chad Sander coming through the tri-oval. They go 3 wide with John Bawalda in the middle of this sandwich, and it looks like Aaron Mack going to take the checkered flag here as the caution flag flies. We are frozen in time, as it were, on the line with Chad Sanner, your stage number 2 winner. Finn Robinson in P2, Aaron Mack in 3rd, John Bawalda in 4th, Tony Burt in 5th, R.P. Allen in 6th, Matthew Helm in 7th, Andrew T. Jones in 8th, Bennett Allen in 9th, and Alexander Gangler in 10th. Aaron Mack, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, Dave?
Man, you're what's going on. I just watched you and Finn Robinson going at it hammer and tongs here at the end of stage 2 like crazy. I mean, brother, listen, that was incredible racing on both of you.
It was. You know, a couple times he left the bottom open a little bit, and you got to take it when you can.
And take it you did there with, you know, just about a lap and a half left in stage 2. I mean, all he had to do was basically flinch, and there you had it.
Exactly.
Well, listen, congratulations in stage 2. Are you thinking maybe a couple of adjustments, or are you pretty well set for 3?
I did make a couple adjustments already. I just need help is all it is.
Trust me, I get it. Maybe you want to start trying to shake hands with those guys from Jackdown Motorsports. They are thick and heavy here atop the pile tonight.
They are. They were. I know Tony was giving Finn there pretty good pushes, and I've got RP behind me though, so hopefully we can do something together.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the stage 2 win. We might see you on the other side there in victory lane, brother.
All right, appreciate it.
That was Aaron Mack, winner of stage number 2, the Money House Racing driver. He's out here in the number 31. Make sure that you're paying attention to him throughout the night. We are going to get a hold of Tony Burt because I don't get to talk to Tony near enough, and I got to be honest, what I just witnessed from Tony Burt was absolute artistry. Tony Burt, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy, sir?
I do, Dave. How are you, bud?
Buddy, listen, I'm always glad to talk to you. You just make my day better when you're in it. But, dude, you get the Pusher of the Year award tonight. Tony, your microphone's just a little hairy.
There you go. Is that better?
That's a little better, yeah. You know, you were pushing Finn all the way around those last, 6 laps of stage number 2. I mean, holy Christmas. That was artistry.
Yeah, that was our plan all along. Get the teams up there, and my plans were to start from the pits like I usually do, and get back up there to the front and help where I could help. You know, I'm not in the playoffs, so I'm trying to help the ones that are, especially Bawalda.
Yeah, well,
All
I mean,
about the team tonight, buddy.
Absolutely, man. Listen, and the team is showing its colors tonight as you, Bawalda, and Robinson all up here in the top 5. I mean, actually, no, I lie. In the top 6. I mean, just an awesome showing tonight for Jackdown Motorsports.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Glory to God, dude. We're here and having fun, man. Just having fun.
All right, man. God bless you, brother. I'll see you on the other side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was the great Tony Burt, a good friend of mine, great guy out here on the racetrack. As you know, every week he's just such a good teammate. I mean, if you're looking for it, if you've got a league and you need somebody to be a good teammate, Tony Burt is probably the best option you could possibly have. And let's just see if we can get a hold of John Bawalda III here real quick.
Yeah,
John Bawalda, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
What's up, brother?
Hey, man, you should be proud of what you got going on down there tonight.
Oh, man, it's not even me. It's the team. We've been working together, working hard, practicing, and preparing for tonight. And they've helped me get into the position I need to be in order to be able to get stage points. So all thanks to the team.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tony was back there pushing Finn Robinson. I told Tony it was almost, or I'd said to the fans here on the air, it was almost like he had a Caterpillar bulldozer, and he was just pushing the bejesus out of Finn. I mean, and they nearly had Aaron Mack, and just couldn't get it done there at the end of the stage.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Tony is an animal when it comes to super speedway racing. We were, like I said before, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but we were really hoping to get him into Daytona's playoff or into the playoffs from that Daytona race. Just didn't work out, and we're just trying to come back again as twice as strong.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way here as we get ready to go through stage number 3. So,
quick shout out to sponsors, Wicked Sim Racing for Mental Health. They are watching tonight, and I want to thank them for everything that they've done so far and plans that we have moving forward. The league already is pretty fun and exciting, but I mean, with what we've got planned and hoping to do next season, hoping to be able to say a drop in a bucket. We got a lot of fun, exciting things planned. So fingers crossed, and let's try and end this night on a high note. Wish me luck.
all right, brother man. God bless you. Hua.
Oh.
That was, of course, John Bawalda, the owner of Jackdown Motorsports. Great racer, good friend of mine. Like I said earlier, we got to spend some time earlier this season going down to Dover Motor Speedway, as he and I don't live too far away from one another. We were there with Bob Nestor. Usually in the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra. He is off this week. But right now, R.P. Allen with his finger on the button. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out, which means that we'll be getting ready to go back green flag racing once that pace car dives down pit road. The iRacing.com pace car does dive down pit road. And right now, folks, get ready for the beginning of stage number 3, and we are going to turn it up here on the Independence Racing Network. folks. Welcome into Talladega Superspeedway. I'm Dave Regal here in the broadcast booth with the Independence Racing Network. You are watching the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series live on YouTube.com, as we are the exclusive broadcast provider of Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series racing here on iRacing. We are proudly presented by Nor'eastern Fire and Air. The MNN Xfinity Series brought to you by Butt Kicker and RS Button Boxes. Right now, Chad Sanner, your race leader. However, Finn Robinson had the lead there. Sorry, folks. Had the lead there for quite a while, as this has been the Jack Dow Motorsports show tonight. As right now, it looks like Finn Robinson, Tony Burton, and I'm not sure where he went, but there he is. John Bawalda III back in 11th position right now. These drivers tonight, as well as Tony Burt in the 4 machine. Oh, the 03 gets put down into the grass. We're still under green. Let's see what happens here. Looks like Tony Burke caught the front right fender of the 03 and sent him down into the grass. But maybe not intentional. We'll have to take one more look here. I certainly don't want to be the judge and jury of this one, as we see the 4 car of Tony Burt leading in front of R.P. Allen. Looks like maybe he wanted to follow R.P. Allen into the low side and just happened to catch that front right fender as he continues to race along here. And just as I say that, Tony Burt in P3 now, side by side with his teammate Finn Robinson, as now Tony giving the shove to Chad Sanner. Chad, a Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series veteran, leading this piece right now on lap number 61 of 113. We're in stage number 3, so we are going all the way to the checkered flag tonight. As now Finn Robinson gets the lead. It looks like he's being pushed along by team owner John Bawalda. It may be time, as we found out earlier, for Finn to drop down, but it looks like he's trying to be a good teammate, bringing along the boss man there in the 51. And they just can't get the run that they need on Chad. Finn Robinson and John Bawalda working together, and it looks like Tony Burt may be trying to get pushed along here by Aaron Mack in the 31 machine. And it looks like that Toyota Supra not enough, as now, there it is. John Bawalda slides down in front of Chad Sanner, and Finn Robinson now safely out in front of this pack, as Bawalda now able to push that teammate, his other car here, the 26, through and into the tri-oval out of turn 4, and they are safely ensconced in the lead right now. Keep in mind that at this point, Finn Robinson's foot is going to be mashed to the floor, while Bawalda's probably able to go just about half throttle. So right now he's using teammate Finn Robinson as a fuel pig. And to be honest, that's not a bad position to be in if you're in Bawalda's shoes. But for Robinson, you never know exactly when that's gonna start to affect your fuel mileage. As we're on lap number 64, so about 14 laps since the end of stage 2, and now all of a sudden the 26 gets out of line and hangs himself to dry. And now they're 3 wide. This is the weirdest knot that I've seen all night. The 59, the 26 is the meet, and it looks like Zach Vaughn there on the top side. I can't say that this is an advisable position to... Oh! The 25 gets into the 26, and here comes the big one. Oh, no. My goodness. The 26 wanted to get back down into that lane, and there was just no place to go. So Finn Robinson, unfortunately, kind of being in the midst of this disaster here. We'll see if we can get an even closer camera angle here. As we see the 26 drifting up, he tries to get between the 25 of Matthew Helm and teammate John Bawalda, and just not enough room, and boom goes the dynamite as it happens. We can see he's looking to try to get between Sanner. And we're going to see him drift up right behind the 51. And it just goes sideways from there. Definitely not something that you want to see, especially when, teammates are involved. We can see here, we're taking a look here, and Tony Burt just barely gets out of that. So that'll leave just 2 Jackdown Motorsports drivers here in the front of this piece. I don't think that's gonna bode very well for them moving forward here in this piece, as this will be only our second caution for cause in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series race live here at Talladega Superspeedway, as Chad Sanner, Zachary Vaughn, Matthew Gaskins, Tony Burt, Anthony Paggio, John Bawalda III, Ethan Flanagan, Andrew T. Jones, Ian Humphreys, and Matt Mackin round out the top 10. Don't look now, folks, but Chris Claude here in his number 10 Toyota Supra, that Dasani machine right here, he's creeping just outside the top 10, and believe me, he is hungry for a win. Jman21 in our YouTube.com live chat saying, let's go Chad Sanner and Matt Gaskins. Jay Franklin, glad that John could get you the shout-out that you were looking for there earlier, as just two Jackdown Motorsports cars here in the top 5. I'm sorry, in the top 10. Tony Burt and John Bawalda in 4th and 6th, now 7th. As yes, John will be here in 7th position, so probably not a bad place to be when you're behind your teammate. The iRacing.com pace car peels down pit road. Chad Sanner with his finger on the button, waiting to hit the loud pedal as they get ready to enter the Geico restart zone. He checks the gloves one more time. You can see he lets out that throttle. He hits the loud pedal, and we are back underway. Green flag racing on lap number 68 of 113 at Talladega Superspeedway. Definitely a rare night when we don't get to call the 98 very often, as Mike Wright way back here in 16th position in that number 98 Ford Performance Mustang. And, you know, right now our points leader back here, he's on the lead lap. He just has not been up there and as competitive so far through these 70 laps that we've run tonight. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe he's laying back in wait, kind of like a lion waiting for its prey in the middle of the desert, as now he's starting to draft up to the rear of teammate Brandon Minto, the lap car of Jeff Carson, your pole sitter. You can't go any further back than he did tonight, as he is now down 30 positions after being taken out so early in this race. Now running back in 31st, basically just trying to stay alive for the sake of points. Meanwhile, his teammate Alexander Gangler in the number 82 It's Corn machine, kind of looking like it's a modified, still trying to keep speed with the 12. He may be holding up the 12 and the 98, as those two cars don't seem to have a whole lot of damage on, but nevertheless, Alexander Gangler trying to keep it competitive here. And your new race leader is Zach Vaughn. We'll see just how he managed to get around Tony Burt was your race leader, and he just gets up and in front of his teammate John Bawalda, allowing Vaughn to come out here and take the race lead. Can't necessarily blame him, as I think I'd rather be near my teammate than I would anybody else on the track at this point, especially with so many laps to go. I mean, 72 to 113. We've got quite a race left, as it looks like now Brad Gunn has had himself an incident. We'll take a look. And maybe Brad Gunn just finally popping that engine as he comes through the tri-oval. And yep, he just can't make it around. And folks, we are going to go side by side here so that you don't miss a moment of this race as we pay some bills on the Independence Racing Network.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
I know belts and hoses, not X and O's. I do O2 sensors, but not defenses. Yeah, I make a right call to keep your car in the game. Don't even need a playbook, it's all in my brain. Fuel injectors, alternators, radiators too. It's who I am, it's what I do. Never know how. Never know how.
There's a new approach to lawn care, Preen One Lawn Care. Preen One does away with the hassle of multiple bags of different products. It has everything you need for a beautiful lawn in one bag. And all it takes is one application. For season-long weed control and feeding, apply the granules when the lawn is wet and weeds are actively growing. It blocks crabgrass all season. It prevents crabgrass seeds from growing. It kills the seedlings too, even when applied 4 weeks after they sprout. It's your best defense against tough weeds like dandelion, chickweed, henbit, and hundreds more. Plus, its slow-release formula feeds the lawn evenly for months to build stronger roots for maximum heat and drought resistance. Preen One delivers convenience and better performance in one package with one application. Spend more time enjoying your lawn and less time working on it. Preen One, and it's done. It's a lawn dream come true.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway, where green flag pit stops are underway. Looks like right now John Bawalda came down on lap number 66, but Brandon Minto, Mike Wright, Justin Prater, Bobby Blazer, Ethan Flanagan, and Bennett Allen all coming down on lap number 76. So not necessarily money stop time just yet. However, it does appear that we are in that next fuel window here for pit stops. I'm Dave Regal here on the Independence Racing Network. Your race leader is Zach Vaughn in the number 91 1110 mods Chevrolet Camaro. He is being pushed around by Chad Sanner and Matthew Gaskins, with John Bawalda and Tony Burt close in tow, lurking around tonight. You're watching Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing live here on YouTube.com. We're bringing you some of the best racing on the iRacing.com servers. I'm glad to have you in with us tonight. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the Independence Racing Network. You can check us out over on Facebook.com/IndependenceRN. And make sure that you follow us and give us a thumbs up if you like what you hear tonight on the air. You know, here we are at Talladega Superspeedway, and, you know, get this, folks. It's been a while, but the NASCAR Xfinity Series lap record was last set by Joe Nemechek, Front Row Joe. He laid down a 48.695 second lap in the 2018 Xfinity Series race in his Chevrolet. Oddly enough, that's showing a Silverado, but we know that that's a Camry. A Camaro. But, you know, now keep in mind that he laid down that 48. And our pole setter tonight, Jeff Carson, he had only been able to pull off a 50.37 second lap. In fact, our fastest lap of the race right now appears to be Brandon Minto in the 12, and that is only a 49.67 second lap. Woof. 49.67 second. That's a hard one to say as a broadcaster. But looks like they're getting ready to get into some lap traffic here. As it looks like that should be the 13 of Corey Burkett there on the low side, courteously getting out of the way of these cars that are currently just blistering speeds right now. Here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, of course, now it's kind of covered up. Bear with me, folks. We'll just quick take those little markers away. 187 miles per hour is Zach Vaughn right now. Chad Sanner, on the other hand, he's going 185, and we're going to look back here at John Bawalda, who's getting one heck of a run as he is now at 189, 190 coming through the tri-oval. That's fast. And, you know, to be completely honest, folks, we might see him crest 191, 192 on the backstretch if he had just a little bit more room. Brandon Minto and Mike Wright leading this little five-car piece here in 11th position. If you watch them right now, once Vaughn, Sanner, Gaskins, Bawalda, and Tony Burt come down for pit service, you're going to see these drivers cycle their way up through, which will put Brandon Minto atop the pile. Of course, he doesn't need a win to move on to the round of 8, as, of course, he had won last week. We can take a look here at the schedule for the MNN Xfinity Series. This week, of course, here we are at Talladega. Now, next week, we'll be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. So, completely different form of racing. In fact, it's going to be much more confusing for these drivers to go from Superspeedway to road course racing, as right now you're able to just hang that throttle wide open, where at, the Roval, of course, there's a lot more brake and a lot more finesse involved. I mean, finesse definitely necessary here as, we look at some of the greatest names that have come to and been successful at Talladega Superspeedway. Of course, the most wins here at Talladega is the Intimidator himself, Dale Earnhardt Sr. He has 10 wins, but the most consecutive wins at Talladega belong to the little fella, Junior. Dale Jr. with 4 consecutive wins here. He also, Dale Sr. also holds the record for most top 5s and top 10s with 23 and 27, respectively. Dale Earnhardt also, of course, has the most laps led at 1,377. Davey Allison has the best contiguous start here at 5.3, and the best average finish also, again, Dale Earnhardt. However, the most laps completed belong to another longtime DEI driver, Michael Waltrip, at 10,181 laps complete at Talladega. So a lot of big names here, a lot of history locked up in this old track, so to speak. And, this track, of course, was built as a giant middle finger to Daytona in the state of Florida, as Big Bill France wanted to build an even bigger speedway as, NASCAR was expanding in the 60s. And as my good friend Tony Trapasso would tell you, this at one time was an Army Air Force base. And, of course, World War II, before the Air Force itself was what it is now, it was the Army Air Corps. And you can still see the shadow of the airstrips that would basically be in the middle of this track. And, around it, of course, after Big Bill France made a deal with the U.S. government, of course, we're from the government and we're here to help. They did help Big Bill France get underway and build this palace of speed here in the middle of Alabama, the heart of Dixie, if you will. And, just an incredible track. I mean, restrictor plates coming along the way that they did, it was always discussed that Junior Johnson had originally figured out what drafting was at this track because, he had an underpowered car and basically figured, oh, if I stay behind this other car, now they're suddenly drafting, what we've now known to call drafting. Now we can suddenly run as fast as this car that's got more power than me and, run that same speed with less of an engine. Another teammate situation here is your pole sitter, Jeff Carson, now pushing behind Chris Claude in the number 10 machine. Chris Claude running in 6th place. Jeff Carson way back there in 27th now, as he was our pole sitter tonight, got dumped early, more so punted than anything. And, of course, not intentional whatsoever, but needless to say, it kind of wrecked his night as far as hoping to get on the podium. However, now he can, obviously with that repair completed, he's able to push teammate and team owner Chris Claude in the number 10 Dasani Toyota Supra around this piece. They have our good friend Tony Burt here on the high side. Tony Burt going to be side by side with Jeff Carson as he's looking for a place to get into line, and hopefully he doesn't wind up hanging himself out to dry early here. As we look further up, he's trying to get where his teammate John Bawalda is, as Bawalda being pushed around by the 3 car. Another lap car pushing a lead lap car here is Bennett Allen pushing along John Bawalda, as Bawalda is desperately trying to get into the draft of Matt Gaskins. And I'm not saying he's out of Gaskins' draft, but I'm saying he could really use a little bit of a bump here to get ever so closer to those top 3 drivers. Zach Vaughn, your race leader, he brings along Chad Sanner and Matt Gaskins in this top 3 right now. John Bawalda III being pushed around by the lap car of Bennett Allen. Andrew T. Jones running in 5th position right now. Chris Claude now up into 6th. He's partnering up right now with his teammate, Jeff Carson, who's pushing along the 4 and him as they come through turn number 2 and onto the super stretch here on the backside of Talladega Superspeedway. Dave Regal and the Independence Racing Network with you live on YouTube.com. Glad to have everybody with us. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, I can't believe that you haven't, make sure that you subscribe, turn on those bell notifications. Of course, we had a little hiccup earlier as I was dragged off for an emergency at work. Glad that I was able to get back here with relative ease. As right now we are 23 to go, so not too much more time here at Talladega. We're going to start to see drivers get a little bit more chippy as we get down in here with that 20 to go. Once we get to 10 to go, it's going to get even hotter, and with 5, 4, and 3 to go, you won't be able to stand it. It'll almost be like the like that one chip challenge. As a matter of fact, speaking of emergencies at work today, checked out the one chip challenge. Basically, my coworker, she went out and she bought the one chips for all of us at work, and I got to be honest with you, folks, it was a hot chip. It was incredible. I mean, your face felt like it was melting off, and you know, I have never done any illicit drugs like that, but if there's a drug that makes it feel like your face is falling off, that one chip challenge is it for sure. And unfortunately for everybody else, I'm the only person here who hasn't been experiencing any horrifically negative effects. I mean, we've had, a rough day. We'll just say a rough day of it here at work. And now it looks like, speaking of a rough day, Tony Burt looking to make his day better as, they almost pin out Chad Sanner, as now Tony Burt has tucked in behind Matt Gaskins here with 21 to go now. And now Tony Burt steps back out. Bawalda gets loosened up by the 3 car. Bawalda coming back up into traffic. The 3 car having connection issues. Not even sure where he might have gone. We're going to just run this back quick and show you folks exactly what happened with the 51. As it looks like Bennett Allen was having some kind of connection issue. Looking for a better camera angle here, and got to be honest with you folks, it's almost like there is none. We can see the 3. In fact, let's just see if we can go to the chopper for this one. Go to the chopper. And we see the 3 car just get into the rear of the 51 ever so slightly. It shuffles the 51 with that purple Xfinity playoff color on the rear wing. It doesn't really affect him, but as soon as he bumps back into the 3, Bennett Allen may have been having some kind of a hardware issue, maybe a connection issue, as now it looks like we're cycling around. That's odd. As Tony Burt and John Bawalda both come down, teammates deciding this is the time. Brandon Minto in the 12, as I had mentioned before, that's going to cycle him up here. And unfortunately for those JDM cars coming out of pit road, that's going to cycle them pretty far back, but not entirely sure. Brandon Minto may wind up here having to come back down, as they haven't been down since lap number 76. Not sure if they can stay out on fuel right now. If we get a caution, they should be able to, but if we stay green here, folks, they may have to come down for another stop yet for service. We can see that group that used to be up front now kind of buried back here in 9th with Chad Sanner, Ian Humphreys in the 25, John Bawalda and Tony Burt in 11th and 12th, Chris Claude in 13th, Lauren Jones, his teammate, in 14th, with Alexander Gangler holding his own yet in this asphalt modified machine with Korn, the big lump with knobs, and right now it looks like that big lump with knobs has a lot of battle scars on it from here at Talladega Superspeedway. Ladies and gentlemen, glad to have you in with us on YouTube.com. As a busy night in sports, we're going to take a quick look here. As right now, the Philadelphia Phillies, whose magic number is 1, my Philadelphia Phillies, of course, right here, the Independence Racing Network studios are just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia Phillies' magic number tonight in the baseball playoffs is 1, and right now, in the top of the 9th, they lead the Houston Astros 3-0 with 2 on and 2 out. So, looking promising right now for the Phillies. A lot of other things going on in baseball tonight, but we're just going to just taking a quick peek here. Philadelphia getting ready to seal the deal with the magic number. The San Diego Padres also working on trying to stay up here, as they have also clinched the wild card. So as long as Philadelphia wins tonight, they will also clinch the wild card. That'll put the Dodgers, the Braves, the Cardinals, the Mets, the Padres, and the Phillies in the National League playoffs for 2022. Something I was really excited to see tonight. So glad to have, the 98 and the 12 nearly get together. Of course, elsewhere in sports, it is Monday night. We may have Monday night NASCAR, but over there on ESPN, our good friends Joe Buck and Troy Aikman in the broadcast booth. They're out in San Francisco right now. 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter in Monday Night Football. The Niners leading the Rams 24-9 in some NFC West action. It's interesting. Over the last several years, you saw some of the matchups on Monday Night Football being really awful. I mean, I believe at one point they even had Browns-Jets. And, over the last couple of years, especially as, Monday Night Football has gotten, let's just say, a little less shiny, as Sunday Night Football has absolutely outshined Monday Night Football over the last several seasons. Of course, with the likes of Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth over there at NBC. Now with the departure of Michaels for Amazon Prime, it's kind of opened the door for some different marquee matchups in the NFL on the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, ESPN, out of Bristol, Connecticut. And, it's gotten a little bit better as far as entertainment on a Monday night for Monday Night Football. However, the best entertainment you're going to find every Monday night is right here on the Independence Racing Network. You're watching Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing at Talladega Superspeedway. 14 to go now. Your race leader is Brandon Minto in the number 12 Upside Ford Mustang. He's being followed by teammate Mike Wright in that Ford Performance Mustang. Andrew T. Jones, the first bow tie in the field, followed by Zach Vaughn. Bobby Blazer in the 90. And it sounds like Mike Wright and Brandon Minto may be okay to make it on fuel from this point. So obviously Mike Wright has decided to go into fuel conservation mode for so long that now it's really paying off for him in the late stages of this race. Justin Prater getting a little squirrely here behind the 46. I'm sorry, behind the 64, the 46, there we go, of Ethan Flanagan, as he's leading Zach Vaughn and Chad Sanner along with Tony Burt here in the 4 car. He's leading this pile behind Chad Sanner. Sanner running in 8th position right now. Zach Vaughn kind of in his own little world right now, as I'm not saying he's happy, but right now he's not in a bad position with 12 to go. And one more time, folks, with 12 to go, we are going to crank it up here on the Independence Racing Network. Some bad action has gone on out here. Lauren Jones seems to have crashed. We're going to take a look. And we see Lauren Jones with the leaders looking at him in the rear. Lauren Jones getting ready to go up here to the high side. He comes up. He rubs the wall. Oh, my gosh. He takes out the 64 and the 79. I have to believe that that was not what Lauren Jones wanted to do. And according to race control, it sounds like Lauren Jones had his VR go dead mid-race here. So obviously something that we didn't want to see. But that's going to make things awful exciting here with 8 to go now, as we're going to get ready to rack 'em, stack 'em, and rumble, stumble, fumble to the checkered flag tonight. On the Independence Racing Network, you are watching Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series action live on YouTube.com. We are the exclusive broadcast provider of MNN Xfinity Series action. We are proudly presented by Northeastern Fire and Air, Butt Kicker, and RS Button Boxes.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have, breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
I know belts and hoses, not X and O's. I do O2 sensors, but not defenses. Yeah, I make a right call to keep your car in the game. Don't even need a playbook, it's all in my brain. Fuel injectors, alternators, radiators too. It's who I am, it's what I do. Never know how. Never know how.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Dave Regal here in the broadcast booth with you tonight. Brandon Minto, your race leader. He is followed by Mike Wright, his teammate in the number 98. They can make it on fuel, as well as Zach Vaughn in the number 91, 1110 mod Chevrolet Camaro. Chad Sanner in the 59, Tony Burt, Chris Claude, Ian Humphreys, Ethan Flanagan, Matt Mackin, and Andrew T. Jones round out your top 10. Bobby Blazer, Justin Prater, and John S. Bawalda III round out the top 13 that are on the lead lap tonight. A lot of good racing going on tonight here, as we've had some green flag pit stops, something that we don't often get to see at Talladega, but just like last night in the Cup Series, tonight even better in the Xfinity Series, as we are going to be just a few laps to go here. When we get back underway, we'll be at 5 to go once we go back green. Last night, we wound up with a natural green-white checker in the Cup Series. Let's see if we can make it a normal finish to the evening here. We can see the cars stacking up side by side. Brandon Minto on the low side here on row number 1 with his teammate on the outside. So one of them is going to have to get themselves a run here. And at this stage in the race, they've just got to get single file. Of course, Minto, he's got his win, and that ticket is punched to the round of 8. So I have to imagine that Mike Wright is going to be looking to take the win here, as the iRacing.com pace car shoots just below that mustard line. He goes 3, 2, 1. The pace car is down pit road. Gangler is coming down. It looks like he is going to park it and tow. Not sure what happened with Alexander Gangler, as we are going to be 5 to go, and the flag waves as Minto comes into the Geico restart zone, and we are going to be back underway green flag racing at Talladega Superspeedway. All right, so now here we have it. Minto and Wright get single file atop the pile. Zach Vaughn falls in line behind them with Chad Sanner in tow. Tony Burt suddenly decides that he's going to get in line with them, and now Chris Claude dumps into the low line as well. He's running in 7th position, so it goes Minto, Wright, Vaughn, Sanner, Burt, Flanagan, Claude, your top 7. Ian Humphreys, Matt Mackin, and Andrew T. Jones round out the top 10, but Jones thinks he can get something going with what turns out to be a complete mess, as now they're 3 wide. They are 3 wide, and we are now going to be 4 to go this time by at Talladega. I have to imagine just for bragging rights, Tony Burt has to be thinking checkered flag here, if not a podium finish, as he is chasing down Chad Sanner in that lime green number 59 right here in the middle of your screen as they come down the backstretch with 4 to go, just about 3.5 laps to go now. And if I were Chad Sanner and Tony Burt, I'd consider sliding up now to take away the momentum from, oh my goodness, it hangs Tony Burt out on the low side. That does shoot him forward a position, but now we're 3 wide with Sanner in the middle, Bobby Blazer on the high side being pushed along by Justin Prater. Tony Burt just got hung out to dry on the low side. We're 3 wide, coming back to 2 to go as the 98, the 91, and the 2 with Zach Vaughn, the meat in the middle of this sandwich, and that's something you rarely want to hear from your spotter, as now Tony Burt is getting into the dance. It's time for Tony to make the move that we've been waiting to see all season long. Zach Vaughn, they're 6 together here. Now 9 together, 3 rows of 3 wide. Tony Burt, look, there's no room for any mistakes right now for any of these drivers as we drop out here to a little bit of a wider shot. Chad Sanner looking to make the move. Oh, the 91 and the 12 get together. They wipe out of the way. Tony Burt takes the lead with 3 to go. We can see exactly what happened here as they come through the trioval. The 91 being pushed along by Chad Sanner. The 12 car, Brandon Minto, basically the only one in his way. The 91 thought that he could come down for reasons I'm pretty sure no one's quite sure of. And they just make a sandwich out of the 91. Tony Burt and Chris Claude somehow magically get themselves around this disaster. I can't even imagine the frustration that will be on the 12, the 98, and the 91's minds right now. Folks, you know, as I said earlier, I love restrictor plate track racing, and this is what it's all about. I mean, we're going to see the 91 yet again try to come down, and somehow just comes down right on top of the 12, and it is just a disaster. So that will bring out the green-white checkered. Your race leader, ladies and gentlemen, is Tony Burt from Jackdown Motorsports, running P2 right now. Chris Claude, the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series commissioner, in the number 10 Dasani Toyota Supra. Ian Humphreys in third. John Bawalda, the owner of Jackdown Motorsports, a little crumpled up here on the rear end of the 51 machine. He's in fourth. Bobby Blazer, that's the driver to worry about right now. And Justin Prater rounding out the top 6 as Matt Mackin is down in the pits. Mike Wright down on, oh my, that's a problem. Matt Mackin trying to get this machine out here. I don't know how much he's got to have going on. So effectively, it looks like we're going to have a 6-car battle here when we go back green. And ladies and gentlemen, out there on YouTube.com, glad to have you with us. You're watching the Independence Racing Network, but right now, breaking news in the world of Major League Baseball. Therein, the Phillies fill out the field and end the postseason drought. They are back in the postseason for the first time since 2011, claiming the 12th and final spot thanks to 2 Kyle Schwarber home runs and 6 2/3 perfect innings from Aaron Nola. It all just came together tonight out west for the Philadelphia Phillies in Houston. They get to take the win tonight in the same town in almost a similar situation where Roy Halladay had a complete game shutout in 2011 when they last went to the playoffs. So the Philadelphia Phillies are in the dance for Major League Baseball. The senior circuit is ready to rock and roll. Let's take a look at everybody who's going to be in the playoffs for Major League Baseball's NL series. Looks like the Dodgers, the Braves, and St. Louis Cardinals are all going to be your division winners. The New York Mets, the San Diego Padres, and the Philadelphia Phillies have all clinched wild card spots. So all 6 of these teams now going to the playoffs. Meanwhile, on the AL side, the Houston Astros, the New York Yankees, and the Cleveland Guardians have all won division crowns, with Toronto, Seattle, and Tampa Bay having the wild card. So a great night so far. At least in my opinion, a great night so far in Major League Baseball. It's exciting to get to announce that here live on air as the Philadelphia Phillies, for the first time since 2011, get to go back to the playoffs. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for bearing with me as baseball is my passion. But right now, Tony Burt, he has a passion for winning right now with Chris Claude on the outside of row 1, Bobby Blazer in 3rd, Ian Humphries in 4th, Justin Prater in 5th, and Matt Mackin in 6th, with John Bawalda and Mike Wright rounding out your top 8 here on the lead lap with what will be a green-white checker. Of course, as you know, green-white checker rules apply here NASCAR overtime. So basically, the green flag's going to fly. We're going to race around, and if anything should bring out a caution in that first lap under green, we will go under caution yet again, rack them, stack them, and do it again. If they make it around and take the white flag, the next flag will end the race, whether it's yellow or checker. The iRacing.com pace car peels down pit road. Tony Burt, the consummate gentleman, out here on the racetrack with his finger on the button, that right foot hovering just above the throttle. He enters the Geico restart zone. We go under green, and we are back to racing here in NASCAR overtime as Bobby Blazer being pushed along by what appears to be the 86. As they suck up to Tony Burt. Tony Burt is going to hold his ground. Tony Burt's not giving up. Chris Claude on the high side drops down in front of Tony Burt, leaving the 32 out to dry. The 32 follows Chris Claude. Chris Claude, your new race leader, the Sunday Night NASCAR commissioner, is finally up here in the front of this pack. He has the 32 in his rearview mirror. Tony Burt trying to chase the 2 of them down. Ian Humphries not trying to take any chances and take care of this equipment. But don't look now. Bobby Blazer and Justin Prater on the high side looking to make some kind of room here. They're getting a run as Tony Burt trying to take their air. They fake him out. It's a deke. Chris Claude is still your race leader. Tony Burt is hanging on for dear life on the outside of Bobby Blazer. Bobby Blazer now sucked up to the rear of the 32, being pushed along by Justin Prater. Tony Burt hung out to dry on the high side. Ian Humphreys in second. Chris Claude, your race leader, bringing them down the backstretch. And Bobby Blazer looking to make the move. Bobby Blazer side by side with Chris Claude coming into turn 3. Claude being pushed around by the 32 of Ian Humphreys. The 2-car of Justin Prater getting closer and closer to Claude. He knocks him down. They get loose. The 32 goes loose. The 2 goes sideways. The 10 gets into the 90. Chris Claude holds his ground. He's in front of Bobby Blazer. Oh, my God. Chris Claude's going to get himself a win. He's side by side with Bobby Blazer. Coming back to the checkers. Bobby Blazer wrecks at the start-finish line. And Bobby Blazer takes the checkered flag with Chris Claude second on the podium and Tony Burt in third. What a finish to this race tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to just take me a moment to catch my breath here because, my goodness, it looks like Bobby Blazer is your race winner. But Chris Claude being congratulated here. And we're going to take one last look here at this final lap because, at this final stretch, because my gosh, folks, this was incredible. As we see Claude and Blazer side by side, Blazer and Claude, I'm being told that Bobby Blazer edged Chris Claude out right here at the start-finish line as he does get the run on him and by a nose. By a nose, it looks like, literally by a wrecked nose, too. We're going to go as slow as humanly possible. My goodness. Bobby Blazer being scored the winner here at Talladega. Just waiting for these gentlemen to come down into the broadcast booth waiting room. Quite a finish tonight. Bobby Blazer, Chris Claude, and Tony Burt on the podium. I got to be honest with you, folks. I thought Chris Claude had Bobby Blazer beat here at the end of this piece, but according to NASCAR timing and scoring, not so much. We're going to get a hold of our race winner, Bobby Blazer. Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. Sir, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
My man, what a crazy finish to the end of this race. I mean, you know, from top to bottom, everything going around, and you just kept your cool and somehow managed to edge out Chris Claude.
Yeah, it was a pretty close finish. I'm glad that my race was relatively clean, so I'm glad that's what happened there. So I'm glad it was a fun finish.
Yeah, definitely a fun finish. I'm pretty sure that I should probably be taking some kind of heart palpitation medicine at this point because I was just this side of having a stroke in the booth.
Well, I'm sorry that that happened to you, but
You guys were listen. You guys had the hammers and tongs out here at the end, and it was just a great finish. I mean, Bobby, what a good deal. And you know, obviously that setup was dialed in, and you kind of laid in wait, you know, like a lion in the Serengeti. I mean, bro, what a great run.
Well, thank you. I actually used a setup I had in the spring. It worked really well in the open races, so I just figured, well, I'll just run that for this, and it ran well. I appreciate my friends on my team, Ethan and Justin, Doug. They all were very helpful tonight, along with Brandon and Mike. We all kind of teamed up for a race and had the same strategy and stuff, so that made it really exciting and fun, and helped me stay out of trouble.
Yeah, man. Listen, you did great there at the end, staying out of trouble as mayhem broke out around you. And before we cut you loose, is there anybody that you need to tip your helmet to for this run tonight?
Well, I would like to thank my team. Like I said, they helped me so much tonight. They were they with I don't even know, man. As soon as the end of the second stage, going into the final stage, they were thinking of ways they could help me, which I appreciate. Like it's the Superspeedway, so everybody has a chance to win. But they were really trying to help me, and so I can advance and just not have to worry about next week. Even with the points I had, I still don't want to go into a red course with no concrete definition of being in the next round. Again, I'd like to thank Brandon and Mike for all the help they gave myself and my team tonight. We all worked really well together. I want to thank you guys, of course. Every race you broadcast, it's awesome and it's great. Every race that these guys put on is fun and exciting. It's not easy to do full-length races, especially on 2 nights a week, so I appreciate them doing that. I would also like to thank my guy Austin Story for this nice little paint scheme I was running tonight. I got a black flag there at the end, and I was trying to turn around and not hit anybody, and it disqualified me, so I'm not sure you can see it right now because I'm not in the session, sort of.
Nope, it just booted you at the very, very end.
Yes, sadly you can't see the paint scheme as I'm talking to y'all, but I appreciate Austin's Story at Money House Graphics for the nice paint scheme, B-Blaze Vintage, the best vintage streetwear you can get, and I'll repeat again, thanks to my teammates, Justin especially, because he helped me there at the end get that run, so I appreciate him for that. He's really the person who helped me win the most, so I appreciate him for that.
All right, man. Well, Bobby Blazer, thank you very much. The pride of York, Pennsylvania, making everybody there in the 717 look real good tonight. So congratulations, and we will see you next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway at the Roval.
All right, thank you.
That was Bobby Blazer, driver of the number 90, your race winner tonight. And you know what? It was real close there at the end. It doesn't get any closer than Mr. Chris Claude bringing that number 10 Dasani Water Toyota Supra across the start-finish line, side by side, door handle to door handle with Bobby Blazer. I really thought that you had this one, Chris. But listen, congratulations and welcome to the podium.
Thank you very much. I thought it was best to bring out the hammer and tongs tonight. This was the night to do it. So
I see what you did there. That a boy. Listen, I mean, I was screaming in the microphone. It was such a good finish. I mean, in the words of Chris Collinsworth, now here's a guy that stuck it out to the very, very end. I mean, how did you even manage to get to where you are here? Take us through that last lap where all of a sudden you just shot out of a cannon.
I was running about 10th and was probably looking at maybe getting inside the top 10 for a finish, and then the late caution came out and moved me up to 6th, and then the last one happened, the big one, and got Tony and I up to 1st and 2nd, and I started looking around. I saw John was going to be running in 3rd place behind him. I was like, well, that's not good. But then John had damage and had to get moved to the back, and then Bobby Blazer took his place, and I was like, oh boy, well, it's like I keep having the deck kind of stacked against me. And on the restart, the car just took off. I mean, I didn't get a great restart, but once I got going, I went right past both of them, ducked down, and it was just hold on for dear life. And I thought that I had it a lot easier than I was going to wind up having it at the very end. It was a real tough battle there at the very end. I'll have to watch it, but anyway, it worked out. First league win, period. Not in any series, so I'm happy. It's been a long time coming.
Now, when you say first league win, because of what happened there with Bobby at the end, as far as I was concerned, I thought that this was Bobby's checkered flag, no?
It's got me scored in first. So
well, then my timing and scoring is off. Okay. Well, then, that's even more exciting. Yeah, listen, when you guys came across the start-finish line and Bobby tumbled out of the way, I was just shocked.
Bobby, I think he said something about he got some sort of black flag. I don't know what it was for, but I'm showing him a lap down in 6th place on my standing. So we'll see what well, I can actually look what iRacing says.
Well, for that, then I apologize.
Yes, it looks like I saw it was me, Tony, and then Matt Mackin is scored in third place.
Well, then this is completely sideways because my timing and scoring is showing Bobby, you, and Tony. But listen, even better. That's even better for Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, my goodness, thank God that you're there to keep me straight as always, as you've been since last year. But you know, listen, Chris, just congratulations all around. You ran one hell of a race, and you know, for me to be able to do that here on the Independence Racing Network, that's something special, man.
Yeah. I knew if I won a race, it would be a super speedway race because basically anybody can win a super speedway race as long as you have some good people working with you. And I did all night long. Jeff, bless his heart, he was taken out early and he got that car back out there and said, just go. I'm going to be right behind you. I'm going to take care of you. And he did. Lauren, he helped out until his VR went out. And, you know, it was really cool. And honestly, I would have been happy first or second. Tony getting his first win, me getting my first win. It's a win-win situation either way. But being able to advance and not having to worry about the roval to get into the round of 8 is nice.
Yeah, that I'm sure of, man. Well, listen, before we cut you loose here tonight, because I'm sure that you're going to go celebrate with a Dasani water or a Sprite, as tradition holds for you.
I've got the water.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Listen, who do you have to tip that helmet to tonight for this run?
As I always say, first and foremost, my teammates. They sacrifice a lot of their time. Hopefully they have fun along the way to be with me every week in each series. And that includes you on Sunday, Dave. And, you know, the people, just the people overall in the league are just a blast to run with every week. You know, I'm glad to finally be able to put my name up there as one of the winners in the league. And, you know, as I said last night, I appreciate my parents. I know that they watch every broadcast. They love listening to you every Monday night. And that's about all I've got.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations. And we will see you next week at the Roval, even though that you pretty much sealed your fate. You just go ahead and take a ride in the back of the field for that one.
I'll be around. I'll do some laps. But it'll be a nice stroll.
All right, brother. Well, listen, then I will chat with you later, my friend, and good luck next week at Charlotte.
Thank you very much, Dave. Have a good night.
That was the Davis Brothers Roofing SNN Cup Series Commissioner, Mr. Chris Claude. He is tonight's race winner as SDK decided to throw me a curveball. But speaking of curveballs, the consummate professional and the consummate gentleman out on the track every week here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, Mr. Tony Burt, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet Camaro. Good sir, how are you tonight?
Doing good, Dave. Good to hear your voice, buddy.
Listen, you have had one. I never get to talk to you post race unless we're just BSing. I mean, this is kind of exciting. You and Chris both on the podium tonight. You guys had one heck of a restart there. I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
I needed to win. I was a bridesmaid at the last one and last Superspeedway, and this one too. You know, that's the way it goes. But I'm strong at the Superspeedway. I don't really excel at many of the other tracks. Maybe Charlotte, the mile and a half, but Superspeedways are definitely my forte. I want to protest Chris Claude. I mean, we talked, Dave, and you're a man of your word. Him and I talked, and he was supposed to wreck the entire field behind me on the last lap, and he didn't do it. And I don't know why the commissioner of the league wouldn't wreck the entire field. I don't know. I mean,
see, and I was trying to hit that nuclear option button on my control panel, and for some reason it just locked up. I didn't understand it.
Man, we had that in place too.
I mean,
no,
listen,
it was good, man. Gosh. We
listen,
some new sponsors on.
Yeah, you guys had some great new sponsors on for JDM.
Yeah, I mean, Wicked Sim Racing for Mental Health Services. They're on the car today, first time. They watched the entire race. I think they had a group of people watching the race. And man, I tell you, we were strong all the way through. We were top 5, top 6 throughout the whole race. Had some team difficulties there, and John and I should have finished top. He should have finished top 5, but he got a exiting pit road violation, which he should have got because he almost wrecked me. I don't know what he was doing, but anyway. But we got in the top 2, man. It's good. It's a good feeling, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they must be serving ice cubes in hell, I assume, because you and Chris both sitting here atop the podium. I mean, just a great night tonight. I mean, I don't think I've ever screamed into my microphone to where it pegged itself out until tonight.
Yeah, I had the broadcast on in the car there. In the car I got a little 10-inch TV, and I couldn't hear it, but I could see it. My car's pretty loud, and the cam is hitting, see it, and I could see you guys were having a time. It was quite the race, man. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, just
Um,
a great finish for you and Chris, and I know that there's a discrepancy right now with timing and scoring, but Chris comes home the winner. You're here in P2 next week. We go to Charlotte, and how are you feeling about the Roval? I know you and I both not usually the Roval guys, but how are you feeling now that you've got this momentum?
So Charlotte's my favorite track. My favorite track on the whole circuit is Charlotte, but not the Roval.
Yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet
So,
kind of deal.
so I won't be here for that. I don't race the Martinsvilles, even though I live 20 minutes from Martinsville. I don't race the Rovals. I don't race. I might maybe Coda, maybe Watkins Glen, but that's a stretch for me. I do not have the talent, so I don't try to do it. I don't want to ruin everybody else's. I just stay out of the car.
See, as always, Tony Burt, the consummate gentleman here in Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing. I was talking about it all night long. I mean, you guys from JDM all night long were up in the top 10 and 11 and 12. I mean, just a great night. So before I cut you loose here, man, who do you need to thank and who do you need to tip your helmet to on your way out the door?
Yeah, man, we got some new sponsors for sure. Before I get into the sponsors, let me just make one little note. Dave, I started from the pits again. I don't know if you realize that or not. So that's that's kind of a fun thing to do too. But anyway, hey, Nitro Racing has been on our car and our setups all year long, and they have been hecka good setups. It's been a pleasure to have them under the car. They've been great. Whoa headquarters, who provides the veterans with PTSD treatment and resources. I don't know if you know, but I'm a 100% disabled veteran. I was shot in the shoulder twice in Iraq, so I'm very again Nitro had some amazing setups. One more day awesome, awesome. They've sponsored us a lot, and of course, Wicked Sim Racing for Mental Health. I want to shout out to Bawalda. John is my team owner. John makes sure I have my setups. He has painted my cars. I have no less than 200 paints for my cars, and he's done them all. Um, John has been a great friend, and he has been a mentor, and I don't think he gets near enough credit for that. He's been just wonderful. Ironically enough, you live close to John and you've met John. I have never met John, but John and I have been close friends for 2 years. And so I'm going to take my plane up to John's sometime soon because I tell you, John has done real well as a team owner. And we also got iRace and iFlags. They've given out prizes and stuff for the season, and they've sponsored my car, and they've got an iRacing flag, iRacing digital flag coming to my car, which lights up when it yellow for cautions and things of that nature. I'm excited to get that mounted in the chassis. But you know who I want to thank more than anybody is my wife, and God, and that's everything, family and God to me. So my family lets me come in here and do this all the time. I tell you all the time that I race. I keep a log of how much I race. It's about 90 hours a week. I'm in this car. So that's pretty amazing that she puts up with that stuff. And she's 15 years younger than me, and she allows me to do that crap, and it's pretty amazing. And our whole life is centered around God, and He just blesses us more and more every day, brother. And I'm so thankful for your friendship and everybody's out there, man. This is a great league, great people. Sometimes it gets a little heated, but these are some great, great people in these leagues, and that's a tribute to Chris Claude. He makes that happen week in and week out. And he puts up with a lot. He has to do a lot of babysitting, but he does well with it and never takes sides. So I'm thankful, very thankful, brother.
Absolutely, we do have a lot to be thankful for, and I'm thankful for you, Tony. I can't say enough how much fun it is when I get to see people that I consider to be friends. Like you just said, you've never gotten to meet John in person, and I've never gotten to meet you in person. But I feel that kinship. From Pennsylvania to West Virginia, I'm right there with you, brother. And of course, Brothers in Christ is thicker than anything in the universe. So glad to be with you, and good night to you, sir. Congratulations once again. Glad to be with you. And have a good night and celebrate with that teammate.
Yes, sir. Let me say just one more thing. My dad was born and raised in Hedgesville, West Virginia, where I'm from. Of course, I live in Carolina now and have for 20-some years. Passed away, last July, and he used to get on the computer and watch these broadcasts all the time. And he used to say that he thought you were a super nice guy. He's like, man, I really like that guy. And my daddy was very, very special to me, and I miss him every day. And I just want to put a shout out to him too. I know he's watching and smiling down from heaven, brother.
He absolutely is. He absolutely is. All right, brother. Listen, have a good night, and I will chat with you later, my friend.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, folks, we have another one in the books for the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's been quite a wild night, an amazing finish here on Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series racing. Chris Claude bringing home the checkered flag, at least for the time being, until iRacing timing and scoring can get itself sorted out. We'll take a look at it once more here, as it does look like it was sorted out. Chris Claude is your race winner with Tony Burt in second, Matt Mackett in third, Ian Humphreys in fourth, Justin Prater in fifth, Bobby Blazer after that DQ there right at the start-finish line finishes sixth. Mike Wright finishes seventh. John Bawalda, Matt Gaskins, and Brandon Minto round out the top 10. Zach Vaughn, Chad Sanner, Ethan Flanagan, Andrew T. Jones, and R.P. Allen finish out your top 15. Finishing 16th, Mr. Alexander Gangler in that It's Corn number 82 machine. Finishing in 16th, Lauren Jones in the number 11 Cheetos car. Finishes 17th. Matthew Helm, Aaron Mack, and Bennett Allen round out the top 20. Anthony Paggio finishes in 21st. Your pole sitter, Jeff Carson, after getting punted early on in this race, finishes 22nd. So not too shabby after being down so many laps. Doug Argabright, Corey Burkett, Brad Gunn, Tim Robinson, Eugenio Alonso finishing out here into 27th. Then John Crow Sr., Josh Ward, Austin Story, and Leo Bonacasa finish out the field. And, as I was just saying to Tony, it's always great when you get to see, a good personal friend finish their night like this. And, it just doesn't get any better than that, especially here in the iRacing.com servers. Most importantly, here on the Independence Racing Network. And, folks, listen, if you've been with us from the start, we thank you. We're appreciative of you. And as you go through the day tomorrow, remember, find that happy moment, find that happy thought, hold on to it, and fly. This has been Dave Regal. You're watching the Independence Racing Network and Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series. Good night, everybody.